Hi everyone, I'm your instructor Marilena Pico. So for this lecture video, we'll be discussing about ionic and molecular compounds, and this will be for week number 7 of our chemistry lecture. Okay, so let's start first with our learning objectives. So at the end of the session, students must be able to write the correct chemical formulas for ionic and molecular compounds. Write the correct name of a given formula of ionic or molecular compound, and write the name and formula of an ionic and molecular compound containing a polyatomic ion. So basically, gagawin natin for this lecture video is that we'll be discussing about the rules for writing chemical formulas and for writing the correct name of a given formula. Okay, so let's start off first with the basic definition or the basis for this. So sa ions natin, meron tayong tinatawag na transferring of ions. So typically, compounds form when electrons are transferred or shared between atoms to give a stable electron configuration to the atoms. So kung natatandaan nyo, before, di ba, diniscuss natin na meron tayong different parang types, classifications of matter. So isa dyan yung elements at saka yung compounds. Now, yung compounds, yun yung pinagsama-samang mga elements. Okay, so pag nag-combine ka ng two or more elements, pwede ka makapag-form ng compound. Now, yung compounds natin, nagkakaroon yan ng bonds. Okay, so pag sinabi nating bonds, you can imagine bonds like para siyang glue that holds two things together. Okay, so kumbaga sa mga sa compounds natin, pag nag-combine yung dalawang elements, nagfo-form sila ng bond. So yung nagdidikit sa kanila, yun yung bonds. Now, meron tayong dalawang type of bonds, yung ionic bond at saka yung covalent bond. So pag sinabi nating ionic bonds, this occur when the valence electrons of atoms of a metal are transferred to atoms of non-metals. So last time, di ba, nabanggit ko kung ano yung valence electrons. So yung valence electrons, ito po yung mga electrons na nandun sa outer shell ng ating atoms. Okay? Kumbaga, sa atom, ito yung pinakamalayo na electron. Okay? Mula doon sa ating nucleus o mula doon sa ating center of the atom. In this case, yung mga atoms ng metal natin, yung mga valence electrons ng atoms ng metal natin, pwede siyang malipat sa atoms ng non-metals. So, an example of that is salt. Yung table salt na alam natin, which is sodium chloride or NaCl pagdating sa chemical formula. So, yung sodium atoms natin, nawawalan sila ng electrons. So, etong nawalang electrons sa kanila, ang nangyayari, natatransfer siya doon sa chlorine atoms. Okay? And yung chlorine atoms naman ang nag-gain ng electrons. Na pag sinabi naman natin covalent bonds, these bonds form when atoms or non-metals share valence electrons. Okay, ang covalent bonds, they exist kapag meron kang dalawang non-metals. Ang ionic bond nag-exist pag meron kang metal and meron kang non-metal. Okay, so basically yun yung pinagkaiba ng dalawa na yun. So again, pag sinabi nating bonds, you can imagine that like para siyang glue na nagdidikit nun sa dalawang elements together. Okay. Now, nagkakaroon din tayo na tinatawag natin na positive ion at saka negative ions. Now, kailan tayo nagkakaroon ng positive ion? So, let's take the example of a sodium atom. Okay, so yung sodium atom natin, again, kung pupunta po kayo sa inyong periodic table, mas maganda kung habang nagdi-discuss ako, katabi nyo yung periodic table nyo or meron kayong copy ng periodic table sa mga devices nyo para you can easily refer to what I'm talking about. Kasi mas madali itong sundan kapag tinitingnan natin yung ating periodic table. So, kung titingnan nyo sa periodic table nyo, yung atomic number ng sodium is 11. So, ano ulit yung atomic number? The atomic number tells us how many protons are there in your element. And kapag neutral yung ating atom, ibig sabihin parehas sila ng value ng proton and electrons. Okay, so parehas yung bilang. Okay, so in this case, kung neutral ang ating sodium atom, meron siyang 11 protons at meron siyang 11 electrons. Now, kapag itong sodium atom na ito is nawalan siya ng isang valence electron, okay, so natanggal yung isang valence electron niya, ano na mangyayari? Magiging ano na siya, magiging 11 protons and 10 electrons. So as a result, kung matatandaan natin sa algebra, kapag nag-add kayo, let's say, ng positive 11 plus negative 10. Okay, ano magiging sagot? So, para tayo nagsusubtract kasi magkaiba yung kanilang sign. So, this one is equal to 1. In this case, it's positive 1. So, parang ganito rin yung nangyayari sa mga um, atoms natin. Okay, so in this case, matatawag na natin yung sodium atom as a sodium ion. And this time, it is a positive ion. Okay, positive ion siya kasi as you can see, mas marami ang kanyang proton compared sa kanyang electron. So, ang isang atom, nagiging positively charged siya o nagiging positive ion siya kapag mas marami yung kanyang proton compared sa kanyang electrons. Now, pagdating naman sa negative ions, ang nangyayari is, nagkakaroon siya ng electrons. Okay, nag-gain siya ng electrons. So, for instance, balikan natin yung chlorine atom. Yung chlorine atom, yung ating chlorine, kapag tinignan niyo siya sa periodic table, ang kanyang atomic number ay 17. Okay? So, 17 siya. So, in this case, ibig sabihin, 17 protons and meron kang 17 electrons. Now, ano mangyayari sa kanya? Since ang chlorine is a non-metal, siya ay may kakayahan na mag-gain ng electrons. So, nakaka-attract siya ng mga electrons. So, in this case, kung madadagdagan siya ng 1 valence electron, ano na mangyayari? Magkakaroon siya ng 17 protons and 18 electrons. So, again, so parang sa math, para kang nag-add ng positive 17 plus negative 18. So, ano magiging sagot dito? This is negative 1. So, therefore, yung ating chlorine ion is nagiging negatively charged. Okay, so dahil mas marami yung kanyang electrons kumpara sa kanyang protons. Okay, so again, nagkakaroon ka ng negative ion pag mas marami yung bilang ng electron mo kaysa sa proton. Alright? Okay, so now let's go to naming compounds and writing formulas. So basically, ganoon na nangyayari sa mga compounds natin. Nagkakaroon ka ng transfer ng electrons. Okay, so pwede ka mag-lose ng electron and pwede kang mag-gain ng electron. Now remember, ang mga metals natin, sila yung naglo-lose ng electrons. Okay, so sila yung nawawala ng electrons kaya sila nagiging positively charged. And yun namang mga non-metals natin, sila yung nakaka-attract ng negative charge. Kaya sila nagiging negatively charged. So pagdating sa mga chemical compounds, meron tayong 5 types. So ito yung tinatawag natin na binary ionic. This is a combination of your metal ion and a non-metal ion. Yung ternary ionic naman, it has at least one ion that is a polyatomic ion. Okay? And then yung binary molecular, ito yung two non-metals. Pag binary acid, ang ibig sabihin nito, meron kang hydrogen plus a non-metal. And pag ternary acid naman, it's a hydrogen plus a polyatomic ion. Okay, so we'll go through this one by one. Okay, so first thing that you need to keep in mind, always keep your periodic table handy. Okay, kasi makakatulong yon para mas madali yung masundan yung discussion natin. Okay, and especially sa midterm exam, make sure that you have your periodic table with you. Mas maganda kung yung periodic table na dala po ninyo is meron kayong polyatomic ions. Okay, kasi gagamitin nyo po yun para po dun sa, pwede nyo siya magamit as reference for writing and naming molecular compounds. Okay, so remember that metals except hydrogen are found to the left of the stair step on the periodic table. And non-metals naman are found on the right side of the periodic table. So na-discuss na natin to before nung discuss natin yung periodic table of elements in our previous week. And then transition metals, pag sinabi natin transition metal, siya po yung nasa gitna. Okay, yung nasa gitna na part. So transition metals are found from group 3 to the stair step except aluminum, which is a regular metal. So kung pupuntahan niyo po yung inyo pong periodic table, you would notice na ito po yung makikita niyong pattern sa kanya. So meron tayong mga different oxidation numbers for certain elements and yung iba pwedeng more than one oxidation number. So yung oxidation number o yung oxidation state, yun po yung gagamitin niyo as a reference para po malaman kung ilan yung valence electrons ng ating element. So in this case, lahat ng nasa group 1 ang kanyang oxidation state or ang kanyang oxidation number is positive 1. Dito naman sa group 2, lahat yan ay positive 2. Sa group 3, lahat yan ay positive 3. So, mapapansin nyo, naka-arrange siya according to your column. And then, Dito naman po, pagdating sa ating group 4, pwede siyang positive or negative 4. And as we move on, you can see dito pa sa mga susunod, meron tayong negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, and 0. Okay, so let's put this into practice. Okay, so let's have the first one, which is the binary ionic compounds. So pag binary ionic compounds, katulad na nabanggit ko, meron po tayo ditong isang metal and isang non-metal. So uunahin nating pangalanan yung first ion. Again, ang first ion po natin dito is always a metal. So if the first ion is a transition element other than zinc, cadmium, or silver, use a Roman numeral with the name. Okay, so sasamahan po natin siya ng Roman numeral. So mamaya magpapakita po ako ng example sa inyo. Again, ang transition elements po, ito po yon. Ito po yung mga nasa gitna. Yan po ang ating transition elements. Okay? Itong part na to, mga transition elements po yan. Or transition metals. Now, name the second ion by changing the suffix to "-ide". Okay? So lalagyan po natin siya ng "-ide" as a suffix. Okay? So yung ating pong second ion, ulitin ko lang, first ion is a metal. And then the second ion is a non-metal. Okay? So tandaan niyo po yan. So for example, ito. Na is sodium. So this is a metal. And then Cl here is chlorine. So instead of saying chlorine, we will say chloride. Okay, so if you notice, dinagdagan natin siya ng suffix na "-ide". Next, ito naman. Ca is calcium, O is oxygen. So ito, yung ating metal is as is, you just mention it as calcium. And then yung oxygen natin, instead of saying oxygen, we will say oxide. Okay, kaya ito, ang basa dyan is calcium oxide. So yung aluminum natin, we read that as aluminum, which is a metal. And then instead of saying sulfur, we will say sulfide. Okay, so ang basa po dito is aluminum sulfide. Next here, Mg is magnesium, I is iodine. So we will again say magnesium, and then yung I, instead of saying iodine, we will say iodide. Okay, so kaya ang basa po dito is magnesium iodide. Okay, so ulitin ko lang. Pag meron tayong isang metal and non-metal na compound, ang ginagawa natin, we just mentioned the first, the metal as it is, and then naglalagay tayo ng suffix na "-ide". Yan, "-ide" sa ating non-metal. Okay, na paano naman kapag meron tayong transition metals with Roman numerals? Okay, so for example, in this case, we have to consider the oxidation number in the chemical formula. So for example, ito, meron tayong copper and then meron tayong sulfur. Okay, so dito, ang oxidation state ng copper is 1, although ang copper meron siyang iba-ibang oxidation states. Meron siyang positive 2, positive 3, hindi lang siya positive 1. Okay, and then sulfur naman, sulfur has an oxidation state of negative 2. Okay, so ang gagawin natin ito, since ang oxidation state ng copper mo is 1, isasama natin siya doon sa ating naming as your Roman numeral. So yung oxidation state represents your Roman numeral. So dahil ito ay positive 1, ito ay Roman numeral number 1. Okay, so copper sulfide. Now, take note that metals in groups 1, 2, and 13 have single definite charges. Ibig sabihin, isa lang talaga yung kanyang charge. So, hindi kayo malilito. Ang transition metal, pwede kasi magkaroon niya ng more than one oxidation state or more than one charge. So, ang group 1 metals natin, like what I've said, meron kang positive charge. Sa group 2 metals, meron kang positive 2 charge. And group 13 metals have positive 3 charge. Now, transition metals may have multiple charges, katulad na nabanggit ko. So, usually, 2 different positive charges. So, for example, yung ating copper oxide na Cu2O is kaparehas lang din siya ng, kapag binanggit natin siya sa name, it's just the same thing, copper oxide. Kaya lang ang difference nila is yung kanyang oxidation state. So, from here, you can say that the charge of copper here is positive 1, and yung charge ng copper on this side is positive 2. Okay? Kasi makikita nyo siya dito sa ating Roman numeral, sa naming niya. Now, three transition elements which do not require a Roman numeral because they have single definite charges. Tatlo lang. Okay? Tatlong transition elements lang ang merong sure na isa lang talaga yung kanyang charge. Ito po yung zinc, which is +2, yung cadmium, which is also +2, and silver, which is +1. Okay, so let's look at these examples. Okay, so again, ito po ay silver. Okay, so remember, silver kasama po siya dun sa tatlong transition elements na meron siyang definite charge. So hindi natin to kailangan lagyan ng Roman numeral. So we can read this as silver, and then instead of saying oxygen, this one will become oxide. So this is simply silver oxide. And then in the second example, meron tayong zinc. So again, zinc is kasama dito po sa ating three transition elements, okay? ZCS. So, madaling tandaan. Okay, ZCS. Yan po yung ating transition elements, hindi kailangan ng Roman numeral. So, this one, you can read this as zinc. And then, instead of saying chlorine, we will say chloride. Okay, zinc chloride. Okay, we also have what we call as stock names. Okay, pag sinabi nating stock names, this is like another name for that ion na meron siyang more than meron siyang more than one na oxidation state. Okay, so for example, ito, instead of saying copper 1, you can just say cuprous. Instead of saying copper 2, you can say cupric. Instead of saying iron 2, you can say ferrous. Ito yung the same ferrous sulfate ha, na iniinom natin na na supplement, remember? So meron tayong supplement na ferrous sulfate. So you can expect na yung ferrous sulfate na yon, ang meron doon is iron na ito yung kanyang oxidation state, it's 2. And then pag sinabi nating iron 3, that's ferric. Pag lead 2, that's plumbous. If it's lead 4, that is plumbic. Okay, so ito bihira naman natin itong may encounter. So it's a good thing that you're familiarized with this. So katulad nga no yan, ferrous sulfate. So now alam nyo na ang ferrous sulfate has iron. Okay, pero instead of saying iron, tinatawag natin siya na ferrous. So writing formulas for binary ionic compounds. Okay, so first things first is to write the symbol and the charge of each ion. Paano po malalaman ang charge ng ating ion? Titingin po tayo sa oxidation state. Okay, dun sa oxidation state o dun sa oxidation number na makikita natin sa ating periodic table. So now balance the charges by providing subscripts. So subscripts basically tells us how many of each atoms are present. Again, yung subscript po, yun po yung number na maliit na nakalagay dun sa bandang baba ng ating element. Okay, so for example, magnesium chloride. Okay, alam natin na ang magnesium is Mg, so you can look it up in your periodic table. And this is one is chloride. So remember, ang root word nito is chlorine, which is Cl in your as a symbol for your element. So you can look it up in your periodic table. So pag tinignan natin ito sa periodic table, ang oxidation state ng magnesium is +2, and sa chlorine naman is -1. So, ano ibig sabihin nito? Ibig sabihin nito, kung meron kang dalawang electrons na magnesium na nawala, makukuha siya ng chlorine. Okay? So, para mabalance to, since dalawa yung nawalang electrons sa magnesium, ibig sabihin, kailangan mo rin ng dalawang chlorine atoms na sasalo nun. Kasi dito, ang isang chlorine atom ay meron lang isa na valence electron. Okay? Na, kumbaga, meron siyang isang charge. Okay? So, kailangan mong mabalance yon. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan mo ng dalawa. Okay? Dalawang chlorine atoms na sasalo doon sa dalawang nawala na electron for magnesium para maging balance. Okay? So, in this case, magiging ganito siya. One atom of magnesium, and if we will combine that with your chlorine, so that would be, the chlorine should be 2 atoms. Actually, may shortcut dyan. Okay, so ano papapansin nyo din sa shortcut? So shortcut na to is simply as this. If you notice, pwede natin itong isulat as Mg, 2 plus, and then this one is Cl. Okay, the negative. Okay, so gagawin nyo lang dito, pagpapalitin nyo lang sila, ilalagay nyo ito sa baba, and ito ilalagay sa kabila. Okay, ano napansin nyo? Ganito na siya, di ba? So yung charge nito, sa taas, yung sa magnesium yung oxidation number, ilalagay mo siya as the subscript of your non-metal, which is chlorine. And then, ito naman yung pinaka-charge ng chlorine, which is -1, or in this case, 1 na lang. Kukunin lang natin yung number. Hindi natin kukunin yung sign. Okay? So, lilipat natin siya dito sa magnesium, lalagyan natin sa baba. Now, kapag nagsusulat tayo ng mga subscripts, kapag yan ay 1, hindi na natin siya sinusulat kasi automatic na yon. Okay, automatic na parang understanding na siya. Okay, na isa lang yung ating atom for magnesium. So, in this case, yan yung pinaka-shortcut na pwede natin gawin. Okay, so that is the chemical formula for magnesium chloride. It's MgCl2. Okay, so let's try another one. Okay, this time we have iron 3 bromide. Okay. Now, iron, ang element nito, ang pinaka-symbol niya sa periodic table is Fe. Now, meron tayong Roman numeral. Ibig sabihin, ito yung gagamitin natin oxidation state. So that means that is Fe3+. Okay? Then bromide. Remember ide? Ito po yung ginagamit natin na suffix. So, ang ating root word dito is bromine. Okay, so bromine is Br. Okay, in your periodic table. So, titingnan natin kung ano yung charges natin dito. So, using your periodic table, you can see that for iron, you have 3, +3. And then for bromine, that is -1. Okay, so again, gamitin na lang natin yung shortcut para mas madali. So, ang gagawin natin dyan, itong 3, lilipat natin dito. Okay, para i-cross natin. And then itong -1, ililipat natin dito. Again, tatanggalin lang natin yung mga signs. Pero kapag 1 lang ang iyong subscript, hindi mo na siya kailangang isulat. Okay, nagsusulat lang tayo pag more than 1. So therefore, it will now look like this. Ayan. Okay, ito po yung iron bromide. Okay, so nakipansin nyo yung 3, napunta siya dito sa bromine. Okay? Let's have another example. Aluminum sulfide. Okay. So, aluminum, pag tinignan po natin yan sa ating periodic table, this is Al. Sulfide, okay, again, this is your prefix. Your root word is sulfur, which is S in your periodic table of elements. So, tingnan natin ang kanilang mga oxidation states. So, for aluminum, that's 3, +3. And then, for sulfur, that's -2. So, ito po yung pinaka-shortcut natin. This is just my representation, pero yung pinaka-shortcut po natin, ganito lang siya. So, ito, ililipat natin yung 3 dito sa baba ng S, and then ito ililipat natin sa baba ng aluminum. So, magiging ganito na siya. Al2S3. Okay? Madali lang, diba? Okay, so ganyan lang po kadali magsulat ng mga chemical formulas for binary ionic compounds. Okay. Now, let's move on to ternary ionic compound. Ang ternary ionic compound naman, meron tayong 1 polyatomic ion. Pag sinabi natin 1 polyatomic ion, ang polyatomic ion kasi is a combination of it's a combination of 2 or more elements. Pero ang kanilang behavior ay parang silang isang ion lang. Okay? Parang isang unit lang sila, magkakasama sila. Mag-package deal sila. Okay? Hindi nyo sila pwedeng pag-iwa-hiwalayin. So, remember that the polyatomic ion, it's a group of atoms that act as a unit and they carry only a single charge. So, isang charge lang yung kanilang kinikerry. So, possible examples ng mga combinations ng ating ternary ionic compound is possible na meron kang ammonium plus a non-metal. It could be a metal or a polyatomic ion. Or it could be an ammonium plus a polyatomic ion. So ito po yung mga possible combinations natin. So let's look at these polyatomic ions. Ayan. So meron tayong sulfate, sulfite, perchlorate, chlorate, chloride, hypochlorite, carbonate, phosphate, acetate, hydroxide, nitrate, nitrite, and ammonium. Now, eto po, meron tayong list nito sa periodic table. So kung bibili kayo ng periodic table, mas maganda kung yung periodic table na bibili nyo is merong listahan ng polyatomic ions. Now, for our midterm exam, you can bring your own periodic table, or kung wala sa periodic table nyo ng list ng polyatomic ions, you can bring a list of the polyatomic ions pagdating po ng exam. And that's perfectly fine. Okay, so para magamit nyo po siyang reference, para dun sa part ng exam that you will be writing and you will be naming the chemical compounds. Okay, so let's have some example here. Okay, so ito. Okay, so babasahin natin to ha. This one is a metal, okay? And this one is a polyatomic ion. Okay. Now, again, pag nagbasa tayo ng metal, babasahin natin to as is. So this is sodium. And then CO3. Ano ba yung CO3? Kung titingnan natin sa ating list, ang CO3 is here. Okay, this is carbonate. Okay, so ang basa dito ay sodium carbonate. Right? Now, for the next one, you have Fe. Okay, this is Fe is iron. And then OH. Ano ba yung basa natin sa OH? So, balikan natin. Dito sa ating list, ang OH is hydroxide. Okay, so therefore, ang basa po natin dito is ferrous hydroxide, or you can also read this as iron 3 hydroxide. Okay? Next, ito naman yung NH4. NH4 3PO4. Okay, so this one is 1 unit. Pag nakikita nyo po nakaganyan, naka-open close parenthesis, ibig sabihin po nito, it's acting as 1 unit. Okay, so kung titingnan po natin dito sa NH4, okay, ano ba yung NH4? It's acting as 1 unit. So, tingnan natin yung polyatomic ions natin. This one is ammonium. Okay, so ang basa dito ay ammonium. And then ano yung PO4? PO4 is also 1 unit. So, if we will take a look at this is phosphate. So, therefore, we can read this as ammonium phosphate. Yan. Next one, here, Cu. Cu is copper. SO4. So, balik po tayo again dito sa ating polyatomic ions. Nasa ng SO4 dyan. So, ito po siya. Yeah. So, we can read this as ferrous sulfate. Okay, so how do we write formulas for ternary ionic compounds? So, very similar din siya katulad sa ginawa natin kanina for binary compounds, binary ionic compounds. So, for example, meron tayong ammonium nitrate. Okay, so ammonium, this is NH4. So, kung titingnan nyo dun sa list ng ating polyatomic ions, it has a positive charge of 1. Okay, and then, yung nitrate naman, nitrate is NO3. So, this one is negative. So, ano mangyayari dito? Yung pinaka-shortcut ulit natin. So, pag lilipatin lang natin sila. Pero since 1 lang ang kanyang subscript, hindi na natin kailangan ilagay yung 1. Okay? Pero, in this case, kailangan natin ilagay yung isa sa kanila sa open-close parenthesis. Okay? Kasi para ma-identify na parehas po silang polyatomic ions. Pwede nyo rin naman siyang isulat as this. NH4, ito yung naka-open close parenthesis, and then NO3 yung nasa labas. Parehas lang po yun. Okay? So it doesn't matter. Another example is lead-4 acetate. Okay. So again, meron tayong Roman numeral. So yung Roman numeral, it means yan po yung gagamitin natin na oxidation state. So this one is Pb for positive. And then acetate, it's a polyatomic ion, so which is C2H3O2. Now, ang charge niya is -1. So again, anong gagawin? I-cross multiply lang po natin siya. Parang ganon, ang ganon na idea. Paglilipatin lang natin, ilipat natin dito sa baba. So therefore, now it becomes Pb, open close parenthesis, C2H3O2, and then 4. Yung pinaka-subscript nila. Remember, very crucial to ha. Huwag niyong kakalimutan ito. Yung naka-open close parenthesis siya dapat. Kasi this one is acting as one single unit. It's a polyatomic ion. Okay? At saka ibig sabihin din ito, yung buong, ito, yung 4, applicable siya for this entire unit. Okay? Kaya siya mayroong parenthesis. Okay, another example, let's try calcium phosphate. Okay, calcium is Ca, so ang kanyang charge is +2. And then phosphate is PO4 3 negative, okay, as your oxidation state. So, ano ulit ang gagawin? Lipat lang natin to dito sa baba, ito rin sa kabila. Okay? So, remember, it's very critical, lalagyan po natin to dapat ng open close parenthesis. So, it would look like this now. Ayan. Ca3, PO4, 2. Right? Okay, so now let's try some binary molecular compounds. Pag binary molecular compounds, they contain two elements that are non-metals. Okay, so parehas po itong non-metals. Now, the molecular indicates that they are joined by a covalent bond. So kanina, yung combination ng metal at saka non-metal, they form ionic bonds. Ang binary molecular compounds naman, pag meron kang two non-metals, what they form is covalent bond. Okay, so the first non-metal only gets a numeric prefix when there is more than one. Okay, when there is more than one. Now, no prefix is needed if there is only one. And the second element always gets a numeric prefix and always has the suffix "ide". Parang katulad kanina, doon sa diniscuss natin sa binary ionic compounds, na meron parating "ide", yung second element, yung ating non-metal. Now, sa case na to, since pareha silang non-metal, kapag isa lang po yung atom, okay, hindi na natin siya nilalagyan ng numeric prefix. Okay, so yung numeric prefix, nilalagay lang natin kapag more than 2 yung atoms na makikita natin doon sa ating chemical formula. Now, yung mga prefixes na ginagamit po natin ay ito. Meron tayong mono, di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nona, and deca. Okay, let's have an example here. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, this one. Now, if you notice, ito, parehas po silang non-metal, carbon and oxygen. Okay, so, ito yung carbon, since isa lang yung kanyang atom, tatawagin lang natin siya na carbon. Okay? And then, yung oxygen, ilang atoms to? Meron kang dalawa. Okay, so, gagamitan natin siya ng numerical prefix. Okay, so 2 here means di. Kaya ang basa po dito ay carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon dioxide, which is the same carbon dioxide that we know, 'di ba, na ini-exhale natin. Now, how about for this one? For this one, again, same rule. First na-mention itong C, itong carbon. So, since isa lang siya, so carbon lang. Pero yung second one, okay, kailangan natin gamitan ng numerical prefix. At dahil isa lang to, ang gagamitin natin ay mono. Kaya ang basa dito ay carbon monoxide. Right? Now, how about for the second one? Okay, itong second one, nitrogen and oxygen. Now, take note, yung nitrogen mo dito, dalawa yung kanyang atom. So, therefore, tatawagin natin siya na di-nitrogen. And then, yung ating 4, okay, ano yung monoprefix na gagamitin natin? Ano yung gagamitin natin na prefix sa kanya? So, gagamitin natin ay tetra. Kaya ang basa sa kanya is dinitrogen tetraoxide. Okay? Now, for the last one, okay, C. Again, isa lang siya, so carbon lang. Pero ito, yung ating chlorine, magiging chloride, and 4. So, gagamitan natin siya ng tetra. So, we can read this as carbon tetrachloride. Okay? Sige, let's try this. Okay, so, tingnan ko yung galing nyo. So, you can try and figure this one out. Okay, so, medyo as I make chika. So, medyo hula-hulaan nyo na. Okay, kung ano yung sagot dyan. Okay, so, lahat po yan ay mga non-metals. So, always remember, gumagamit lang tayo ng numerical prefix kapag dun sa first non-metal kapag more than one. Okay, pero yung second non-metal, parati po yun na merong numerical prefix. Okay, ulitin ko ha, yung second element, parati po siyang merong prefix. Okay? Now, let's try this. Okay, Si is silicon. O is oxygen. So instead of saying oxygen, we will say oxide. At pero ito ay dalawa. So ibig sabihin siya ay babasahin as silicon dioxide. Okay, so if you got this one correctly, very good. Okay, next one, P here. P is phosphorus. Pero since dalawa yung kanyang atom, babasahin natin siya as diphosphorus. And then you have your chlorine, which is, we will call this as chloride. Pero meron siyang 5. Okay, so ang ating prefix for that is penta. Okay, penta. So we will read that as pentachloride. So therefore, this is read as diphosphorus pentachloride. Okay, last one. Okay, N is nitrogen. And then O, yung oxygen natin magiging oxide. Pero dahil isa lang to, we will call this as nitrogen monoxide. Okay? So, yan. Napakadali lang po, di ba? Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na pattern sa pagninim ng compounds. Now, let's move on to the binary acid. Pag sinabi nating binary acid, always remember this. Ang lahat ng acid ay merong hydrogen. Okay? Merong hydrogen sa una. So, ang katulad na nabanggit ko, the second element is always a nonmetal. Okay? And then your hydrogen also is, remember, is also a nonmetal. Now, this is the pattern. So, ang prefix natin, ginagamitin natin siya parati ng hydro. And then, gagamitin natin yung stem or root of the nonmetal. And then, lalagyan natin siya ng suffix na "-ic". And then, dudugtong natin yung word na acid. Okay? So, let me give you an example. Okay. This one, pag nauuna ang H, babasahin nyo to as hydro. Okay. And then, ito, instead of chlorine, ang idadagdag natin sa kanya na prefix is "-ic" plus the word acid. So, ang basa dito ay hydrochloric acid. Okay, hydrochloric, then acid. How about this? Okay. Again, H is hydro. Okay, and then instead of iodine, we will say iodic. Okay, so this is iodic. So this is hydroiodic acid. Okay, and then the next one, again, meron kang hydrogen. Okay? Remember hindi mo to babasahin as dihydrogen sulfide. Okay? Kasi this one is an acid. Remember, ang lahat ng acid parati siyang merong hydrogen sa unahan niya. Okay? Sa unahan ng chemical formula natin. So we will read this as hydro, and then instead of S, we will, instead of saying sulfur, we will change that to sulfuric. Okay, and then add the word acid. So we read this as hydrosulfuric acid. Okay, yan. Diba po? Okay, so hopefully malinaw po ito, ha? Okay, now how do we write formulas for binary acids? Again, katulad lang din ng rule na pinakita ko kanina, same principle lang din. So for example, here we have hydrofluoric acid. Okay, hydrogen always has a positive charge. Yung fluorine po natin, ang charge niya is negative. So, again, pagpapalitin lang natin siya, ayan, paglilipatin lang natin. And this is simply equal to HF. Okay, so dali lang, hydrofluoric acid. Now, how about hydrophosphoric acid? Okay. Again, hydro means we have a hydrogen atom. And then phosphoric, that means we have phosphorus here. Okay, so kaya ang ating charge for phosphorus is +3 for the oxidation state. So again, pag lilipatin lang natin sila, like this. So ito po ay magiging H3P. Okay, so let's move on to ternary acids. Pag ternary acids, meron pa rin siyang hydrogen sa unahan. Okay, ang difference lang is that meron ka ng polyatomic ion. So yung pinaka-second na element mo instead of a nonmetal, ang meron ka ay polyatomic ion. Okay? And for that, ito yung gagamitin po natin na pattern. It's the root of the polyatomic ion, and then the suffix "-ic", and then the word acid. Okay, so for example, ito. ClO3. Okay, ClO3 is chloric. Okay, this is chlorate, diba? So instead of saying chlorate, so we will call this as chloric. Okay, ito yung ating suffix. And then just add the word acid. So hindi na natin kailangan sabihin na hydrochloric acid kasi magiging mali yun. Okay, kasi ang hydrochloric acid is HCl. Okay, but in this case, this is a polyatomic ion. So, hindi natin pwedeng gamitin yung hydrochloric acid. Okay, but instead, we will simply use chloric kasi this is the pattern that we will be using. The polyatomic ion and then the suffix "-ic". Okay, what about this? This one is nitrate, yung NO3. So therefore, ang basa dito will be nitric acid. Okay, so again, ginamit natin yung suffix na "-ic". What about this? Di ba ang SO4 is sulfate? So instead of saying sulfate, we will say sulfuric acid. Okay, sulfuric acid. Right? So again, yung ginamit po natin dyan is the suffix na "-ic". Okay, so now, for the ternary acids, yung second category natin, this is a polyatomic ion that has the suffix of "-ite, and we will use the following pattern. Okay, kanina kasi dito, yung sa first one, ang kanyang suffix ay "-ate". Okay, yung "-ate" or yung "-ide". Okay? This time naman, kapag meron ka namang mga ite, okay, instead of ik, as the suffix, we will use OUS or OS. Okay, so for example, ito. This one is a polyatomic ion, which is nitrite. Okay, so instead of nitrite, we will say nitrous acid. Okay, so ito yung ating suffix, yung OUS. Now, this one is a chlorite. Okay, chlorite yan. So instead of saying chlorite, we will say chlorus. Okay, so this is a chlorus acid. And then this one is sulfite. Okay, so instead of saying sulfite, we will say sulfurous. Okay, sulfurous acid. Yan. Okay? So, yan po yung ating pong mga rules pagdating po sa acids. Now, same thing with writing the formulas for ternary acids. Parehas lang din po. Okay? Now, for acetic acid, again, always remember, ang acid parati kang merong hydrogen. Okay? Ang acetic, this one is acetate from the word acetate. So, ang ating chemical formula for that is C2H3O2. Okay? This is a polyatomic ion. So, like what I've said earlier, ano lang yan, pagpapalitin lang po natin. Okay? Ilagay lang natin sila sa baba as the subscript. So in this case, we can just simply write it as this. Okay? HC2H3O2. Okay? So, kasi since ang kanya namang subscript is just equal to 1. Okay? So hindi na natin siya sinasama. Another example is hypochlorous acid. Okay, hypochlorous. Again, it's an acid, so we always have H. Okay, and then chlorous, ibig sabihin gagamit tayo dito ng chlorate. Okay, so this is ClO, and then you have, again, negative for your charge, and then for hydrogen, positive. So pagpapalitin lang natin siya, so walang ka-challenge. This is just equal to HClO. Okay, so let's try this. Okay, so as a review ng lahat ng pinag-aralan natin kanina. Okay, so let's try to figure out how to name these compounds. Okay, so the first one, this is a metal. This one is a polyatomic ion. Okay, so tingnan natin ha sa table ng polyatomic ions. Ano ba tong OH? Okay, now C is calcium. And then OH is hydroxide. So therefore, we read this as calcium hydroxide. So if you got that correctly, very good. Okay, next one. Okay, ito po ay parehas non-metal, sulfur and oxygen. Again, pag meron ka pong parehas na non-metal, yung second non-metal mo, dapat meron kang numerical suffix. Okay, so this one, dahil ito ay dalawa, gagamit tayo ng di. So you read this as sulfur dioxide. And the last one, okay, NH4 is a polyatomic ion. Same thing with PO4, it's also a polyatomic ion. So NH4, will read this as ammonium, and then PO4 is phosphate. So therefore, we read this as ammonium phosphate. All right? Okay, let's try another one. Okay, this one is CO2, CO33. Okay, again, CO, this one is a metal, which is cobalt. CO3, this one is a polyatomic ion, which is carbonate. Okay, so babasahin lang natin siya as cobalt carbonate. Now, remember, ang cobalt natin, meron tayong 3. Okay, bakit? Kasi ang cobalt is a transition element. Okay, so ibig sabihin, meron siyang more than 2 oxidation states. At paano ko nalaman na oxidation state niya is 3? Kasi, remember, di ba yung pattern natin, pinagpapalit lang natin yung kanilang oxidation state sa subscript. So, ibig sabihin, itong 3 na to, sa carbonate, ito siya. Pag nilipat natin dito sa CO, yan yung magiging charge niya. And dito naman sa CO3, itong 2, okay, pag ito nilipat natin dito, ito yung magiging charge ng CO3. Okay. Now, let's look at the next one. The next one again, meron kang hydrogen sa unahan. So, ibig sabihin, this one is automatically an acid. Always remember, kapag meron kang H sa unahan, automatic acid na yan. Okay, so this is hydrogen and this is bromine. So, instead of saying bromine, we will say ik. Yung didadagdagan natin siya ng suffix na ik. So, this is read as hydrobromic acid. Okay, next one. Okay, this is K is potassium, and then you have C2H3O2, which is your polyatomic ion. And again, you will read this as potassium acetate. Kasi yung C2H3O2 ay acetate. Okay, so let's try another one. CD. CD is cadmium. Okay, cadmium, and then NO3 is nitrate. So we would read this as calcium nitrate. Okay, I'm sorry, cadmium nitrate. Okay, next one. This one is aluminum and this one is oxygen. Now remember, aluminum is kasama siya dun sa mga transition metal na meron siyang single oxidation state. So therefore, hindi natin to kailangan samahan ng Roman numeral. So we can simply read this as aluminum oxide. Okay, what about this one? Okay, this is fluorine and oxygen. Pareha silang non-metal. So again, ang role natin for non-metal is, ito po, dahil meron siyang more than one atom, kailangan natin gamitan ng numerical suffix. And 2 is di. And then dito naman sa oxygen, meron siyang 3 atoms. So ang gagamitin natin na suffix is tri. Okay, so therefore we can read this as difluorine trioxide. Okay, difluorine trioxide. Okay? Okay, so with that, that ends our discussion for naming and writing chemical compounds. So now you have to do homework number 5. So nakapost na po yan sa ating pong Google Classroom. And this will be submitted on October 6, 2024. So this is like a week before your midterm exam. So mas maganda kung mapasa nyo siya beforehand kasi parang pwede nyo na rin to actually gamitin na reviewer. Okay, so make sure na lahat ng mga homeworks ay ipapasa nyo kasi yan po yung magiging output natin. And then at the same time, mas maganda na nasasagutan nyo siya on time kasi para it's a way for you to determine kung nasundan nyo po ba yung ating discussions. So, yung mga homeworks po nyo, lahat po na outputs po nyo, isasoli ko po sa inyo. I'm gonna send that to you as well. So, inaayos ko pa lang po. So, I'll just leave a message on Viber kapag natapos ko na po check ang lahat po ng mga outputs po ninyo. Alright? So, with that, guys, thank you so much and I'll see you guys on the next video, which is the last lecture before you do your midterm exam.